This is Wandering Universe. Today, I'm going to be exploring another pyramid. You'd be surprised how many there are scattered across this planet. A pyramid explored by a geologist thought to be the world's oldest of its kind. So, let's go exploring. Today, we're going to explore somewhere else on the other side of this planet. It's an unusual area where this ruin is located, and it's not a common subject that a lot of archaeologists talk about. So, where am I going to take you today? Let's spin this blue marble around, shall we? Let's have a look. Pacific Ocean is very vast, isn't it? It takes a long time to actually fly from Australia all the way to America. It's virtually almost a 14-hour flight. Oh, well, should I say an overnight flight. It's very tiring. Okay. We're not exploring Australia. That'll be another time. We're going to go in. Come on, come with me. Let's go exploring. Let's go exploring, shall we? Yep. This is the region we're going to be exploring. What's interesting about this area, as you can see, there's lots of underwater land masses. Most of them would be extinct volcanoes, a few would be active, but a lot of them share this large landmass that connects all these continents into one. I believe that during the last ice age, all this area here, we're talking about from Southeast Asia all the way near northern Australia, that these continents and that has this underwater landmass were all connected into one ginormous continent in itself. And we're talking about way before the last two ice ages. We're talking about possibly during the last dinosaur period and even before that, when Earth was in its infancy. So what you're seeing here is one giant underwater landmass that connects all these continents together. What I find very interesting, before I get into the place where where I spotted this ruin, see these lines here? There's something underneath there. We don't know what it is. Unfortunately, it's so deep. You need a specialized submarine to actually dive deep down to go in search of these lines. They're probably roads, they're probably tunnels, they're probably channels, I don't know. But the explanation to this mystery still remains unknown. We don't know what's down there, but it is interesting to find out. Okay, so let's go back a bit. See how there's more land masses right here? It's interesting that they formed one giant continent thousands upon thousands of years ago. Having said that, let's go take a closer look where we're going today. Well, we're going to Indonesia, and this is the area we're going to today. We're going to I'd say it's an island. We're going to the island of Java. What's interesting about this island itself is that it is just a landscape of volcanoes. Some of them are still active. A lot of them would be extinct, but it's incredible the amount of volcanic activity that went on over the millions of years. And that would spread across northwest and east of other parts of Indonesia. This landmass that you see right here would have been just one ginormous mountainous continent. I mean, it was unbelievable back then. As you can see, there's other islands that are dispersed across it. And we're going to go in further into this continent right here. So let's go in. What are we seeing here today? Okay. In this area called Padang, believe it or not, there's actually two mountains that is under the same name. I'm going to take you into this area. It's called, I think it's called Sinjar. I'll take you in there. And around this area is where there is a ruin nearby. And it's interesting that in this area of Sinjar, just a little bit southwest from it, there's a lake nearby. Therefore, there'll be river systems connected to this ancient ruin. These lakes would have been a lot larger from back in the good old Ice Age heyday. Am I saying that there were ancient structures or ancient civilizations that lived near these volcanoes? Could be. We don't know. All right, we're going to go in. We're going to go right in. This ancient ruin is located somewhere in Sinajur. It's actually southwest, 50 kilometers southwest from Sinajur. What's in this mountain terrain? Well, we're about to find out. So, it's very hard to find because it's camouflaged within this area, and okay, there it is. That's where it's located in this area. Now, this is where it's at. It sits on some sort of extinct volcano on a mountaintop. We don't know if it's actually a pyramid or not. I think the structure itself, if I just go out a little bit, I think the structure itself doesn't resemble a pyramid because it's all covered in a lot of thick jungle vine and bush terrain right there. But if you take a closer look, I'll just give you a closer look. This is the actual site itself, as you can see right here. So it's more of a rectangular, vertical, or depending how you look at it, horizontal type of step pyramid. I'm going to talk more about this in my video. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a nice view of it. So I'll turn it around. Okay, here we are. And enjoy. Okay, so that's what it looks like from above. So there you have it. That's what it looks like in 3D view. And it sits right on top of an extinct volcano over millions of years ago. And according to one geologist, it is the world's oldest pyramid. And you're about to find out how. So, enjoy. Indonesia, the land of Jurassic volcanoes, sprawled across the evergreen rolling landscape refined over millions of years of mountain making that is as limitless as time. The harshness of the forested wasteland camouflaged a secret for thousands of years. Sitting on top of an extinct volcano is a mountain that sheds light on its ancient past. An artificial structure not known to man. A structure of a unique kind, relatively concealed amongst a thick forest grove, is a pyramid called Wisata Sitas Gunung Padang, or Mount Padang. It is located in Karya Mukti village of Kampaka in Sinjar Regency, West Java, Indonesia. It is 50 kilometers southwest of the city of Sinjar. It sits undisturbed on a 100-meter mountain top where it glistens in the morning sunlight and bathes in the afternoon sunsets. It is known as the Mountain of Light. At 800 meters above sea level, it is bordered by retaining stone walls and long steel terraces. Its design and size shares a unique resemblance to Gympie Mound in northern Queensland. According to legend, a mighty ruler, King Siliwangi, claimed he built a palace on top of Gunung Padang in a single night. Apart from his ego talking, There is very little evidence to back his claim. The Sundanese people in ancient past weren't interested in the complex art of pyramidal construction. It was first mentioned in 1917. Then, in 1949, it was reported by historian H.J. Cromwell. Some years later, a group of employees from the National Research Centre for Archaeology visited the pyramid in 1979. It wasn't until 2014 it was rediscovered by geologist Danny Hillman. It was by chance that the Sudanese people bumbled their way through thick jungle that this ruin got them awestruck. They claim this ancient site was sacred, magically exudes its wonderful healing power called energy. Other indigenous tribes allege they were visited by Egyptians around 2000 BC and stake their claim as the makers of this pyramid. If so, then why did they go through so much trouble to travel halfway across the world just to see this one pyramid? This feat of engineering was not built in a day. It was constructed using robust materials of basalt and andesite rock that produced a step platform style pyramid. This is the only type found in Indonesia and shares a look-alike appearance to that of Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico. There are hundreds of fallen and disused stone blocks scattered across the landscape like discarded rubbish that the indigenous Indonesians could not put back together again. This pyramid consists of 3 to 6 step terraces beginning from the base that escalates to the flat top apex. From the first terrace, a stone staircase elevates to the second plateau, then gradually inclines to the third and final terrace. These terraces demonstrate the sheer magnitude of the entire complex system. Upon the flat apex are numerous stone block pillars in various sizes encase a rectangular barrier known as the Crown of the World. What makes this site an intriguing find is the toppled stone blocks show signs of an ancient technology. Drilled holes, grooved, indented, and punctured deep through the hard rock core. Many of these drilled holes display precisely cut round holes measured along various points of a rock surface. It is hard to imagine that indigenous Indonesians would have acquired knowledge of ancient geometric technology to perform with such accuracy by primitive tools alone. So far, none of the archaeologists and geologists who excavated the area found no evidence of human intervention such as primitive tool markings. If this pyramid could speak, it's likely that vital evidence is buried deep within this mountain. Here is an interesting video that speaks on its construction technique.
This site is thought to be the oldest prehistoric ruins in the world. It could go back 26,000 years, and they're searching for the burial part of the temple. This is ruins of the wall that was made in prehistoric times, and it shows sign of cut stone and then of course carefully placed stone. The fact that we're on a very, very high mountain here in Indonesia tells you that this was not done very easily.
I'm pretty convinced that ancient high technology manufactured this pyramid. The question is, by who? There is no written text or petroglyphs found anywhere amongst the ruin. There is an assumption there are several channels, a chamber, and more layers mounted under thick rock. Until now, the mystery of its abandonment still remains unknown. From the indigenous perspective, stories from their ancestral past speak of sacrifice and worship to their pagan gods. After a few archaeologists curiously listened intently, they speculate Indonesian tribes performed these rituals upon a sacrificial stone platform to slaughter animals and possible gullible human beings as an offering to their rain god. This hard-wearing red stone tabernacle was an imported product derived from an unknown source in one particular area. Archaeologists examined the mineral compound and found it to be made of iron. This type of rock is not sourced anywhere in Indonesia, yet archaeologists who examined this rock found no traces of animal and human bones near its perimeter. The crown of the world hides a dark secret buried deep beneath the ground. A possible doorway of an undescriptive kind travels to the underbelly that lies a mysterious chamber. Archaeologists and geologists speculate that a long tunnel extends down to the heart of the pyramid that goes as far as 100 meters deep. If this pyramid resembles a talled tablero construct, similar to the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico, then this wall might provide a clue to the identity of the builders. This huge wall was built using andesite stone columns stacked into place without using mortar. The smooth surface reveals an intriguing find. The ends of these stone blocks have hexagonal-shaped ends that act as rods, slotted neatly, layer by layer, forming a honeycomb pattern exterior. This wall continues along a 15-hectare area with jutted angled slopes that wrap around to almost 150,000 square meters. Here is a video from Megalithomedia UK that demonstrates this ancient geometric technology.
Even on the eastern side.
We have to see that the arrangement of the second layer is more advanced of this one.
Yeah.
This is more coarse, it's not as tight as the second layer.
Yeah. What I find interesting here is you've got these two stones
Yeah.
that are jutting out.
Yeah.
That's clearly done on purpose.
Yeah. So notice that we have the test pit over there.
Yeah.
So this first layer is only covered like no more than 1 meter of this block. Behind this is the second layer.
Okay.
So
and this
Yeah.
is this sticking out from the second layer?
no, this is the first layer.
Okay.
I think,
But clearly these are a marker for something, because otherwise why would you stick them out and not
I
make the whole thing flush?
yeah. My architecture guy think this is it is for strengthening the structures. The bottom one below this layer is a bit deviated slightly, about 15 degree. So that one is oriented like 55 degree. So, but that is similar to what we see on the second and the third level, the arrangement of the column. So there are two arrangements. One is perpendicular to the side, the other is a bit deviated, like diagonal to it. So
Okay. And this different type of stone, like what potentially some people call the altar stone,
this one,
what is that made of?
this one also
The orange kind of.
oh, the orange one, yeah, that's different rocks. That is not the columnar joint rocks, not the column rocks, but it's a slab of rock. That's absolutely different. And this one also, it has a special meanings of that. You see that rocks
Yes.
with the flat surfaces.
Yes.
We call it it's a sound rock or music rock, because it's if you
If you tap it, you get
tap it,
you get a
the
different
sound.
Oh, okay. So it's like acoustic.
Yeah, it's an acoustic
Okay.
one. So some people think it's for acoustic.
So these three down here, three or
that's
four,
right.
yeah.
You
Okay.
can try it with our hand even.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that now.
It might cost by the lots of iron on it.
Alright, let's get this straight. If this king laid claim that he built this massive structure in a day, wouldn't he have produced this style of construction elsewhere? Wouldn't he have signed his name along a dotted stone line as the official architect, including others? If what he said is true, then where is the evidence like a blueprint to support it? I mean, what did he know about hexagons back then? Numerous surveys were conducted at the site, such as ground-penetrating radar, X-ray tomography, 2D and 3D imaging, core drilling and excavations, to name a few, searching for what lies beneath. What they uncovered astounded them. From 3 meters below the surface is the second layer of similar rock columns aged between 7,500 to 8,300 years old, and it was buried around 4,700 BC. And 15 meters further below, it shows similar horizontal rock columns aged around 9,000 years old, yet they claim it could be older than 28,000 years old. These layers indicate that it was gradually built over the thousands of years, with each layer representing a different time period. But what makes this so compelling is the pillars at the summit were formed in an organised fashion, along with walls, paths and spaces. This layer itself is around 3,500 years old. According to archaeologists, they surmise that these layers were reworked, modified, and progressively added through multiple times built by various societies from around 6000 BC. But these societies were not the first and last tribes that congregated there. What caused these stone blocks to remain as they are? Perhaps an earthquake created a tectonic plate shift. This site was also explored for gold prospecting, believing a cave filled with gold lied beneath it, yet it was never fully mined. But get this, one geologist just so happened to discover a clue that has left the mystery wide open. Cement. Dr. Danny Hillman Natawija came across a type of mortar, an iron mineral cement filled between each layer of stone block. The cement compound is comprised of iron minerals and silica using water that created a putty texture. Evidence of this ancient technology is revealed near the flat top summit. Could this brought over technology be the product of ancient beings who introduced geopolymer cement during the last ice age? The moment he publicly disclosed this small piece of evidence, the Indonesian government stepped in and halted all future excavations. So, what's going on? What is it about this pyramid that freaks the ghost out of them? Did this observation hit them hard that contradicts their ancestors taking credit for something they never built? And to add more salt to their wounds, archaeologists figured that these stone blocks that shaped the pyramid were orientated towards north. Even more compelling, that these stone blocks emit some kind of magnetic energy that formed a magnetic field. In 2015, geologist Dr. Danny Hillman Natawija found a curious metal object. It appeared ancient in form, made from copper and gold compounds that resembles an electrical capacitor. The carbon dating of this electrical device is aged around 3,500 years old. Gunung Padang is hypothesized as the world's oldest pyramid, built before the Giza pyramids came into existence. If truth is far stranger than fiction, the hypothesized age has created a rift between the Indonesian government and the archaeologists who examined the ruin, have wholeheartedly believed their ancestral primates were the supreme builders of this masterpiece. The archaeologists disputed that hunter-gatherers had no prior experience in ancient high technology to even comprehend geometric patterns to construct an elaborate building. The evidence speaks to the contrary, as it defies the Indonesian authorities' defective beliefs, which in turn has embarrassed them. If this pyramid could speak, it would recall a historical change in its evolution. A geological landmass matured into a volcanic substance, held up its crown of glory, a majestic ruin that has outlasted all other ruins in our human timeline. Its identity of its makers is hidden in the shadows, written in stone kept out of sight, leaving a baffling mystery to its sudden desertion will only be known in the Twilight Zone. Whilst I was searching for the location of Gunung Padang, I just so happened to come across another one. It's located in Lake Kali Semenak in the Aceh province. Could there be more pyramids dispersed across the entire volcanic landscape? Well, I could be lying if I said there weren't any. Wandering Universe will introduce a segment of thought-provoking insight of ancient knowledge that was known to ancient beings, then lost in history. A segment that explores a dimension of philosophical foresight that formed a universal foundation of time, freedom, and most importantly, true happiness. That's all for now.